Understand? So likewise, this what it is given. Different types of the method we follow, and here the limitations are given actually. So here what it says, this Mohr column have also has some limitations. Okay, so what are the limitations? It neglects the effect of the intermediate principle. We have already neglected that one, sigma 2 we have neglected. Okay, so but it would be three-dimensional in the field actually. Okay, it approximates the curved failure envelope by a straight line. That means we have changed from curve to the straight line for our convenience. Okay, so this is having the whatever we are getting is not 100% correct result. Okay, then more envelope is curved that we have discussed. And for some clay soil, there is just no fixed relationship between the normal and sometimes no clay, different clays we have. Sometimes there would be some problem with that. Okay. Now coming to the how generally we measure this shear strength of a soil uh, in the laboratory. So when you come to laboratory, right, maybe next semester or I don't know now, you will be having laboratory. There we use direct shear method. Okay, direct shear test, triaxial test, compression test, and the unconfined compression test, and the vein shear test, shear vein test or vein shear test. So these are the methods we use for finding the shear strength of a soil. Now what we'll see today, we'll see that only the direct stress, direct shear. That means there would be some box. Okay, here I will show you. Here there would be some box, and here we will apply normal load and the shear. This particular sample would be sheared. Okay, so before going to that, there are some other methods also, that is triaxial method. In the triaxial method we have few drainage conditions actually. Okay, so here the shear stress must be conducted under appropriate drainage condition that simulate the actual field problem. Okay, in shear stress generally we consider there are two stages. One is consolidation stages, in which normal stress or a confining pressure is applied to the specimen and it is allowed to the consolidate. And second stage what we'll do is shear stage, in which the shear stress or a deviation stress is applied to the specimen to shear it. So this thing generally we will not follow in direct shear test, but in triaxial test we follow these conditions. So these conditions are very important. They will ask in all interviews and all. Okay, there are three conditions. Okay, condition in the sense we conduct this triaxial test in these three stages. Okay, first is unconsolidated undrained test. In this type of test, no drainage is permitted. Okay, during the consolidation. That means when you conduct a test. Okay. Anyway, I will show some pictures. You will understand. This is in the triaxial test. Okay. In this test, no drainage is permitted during the consolidation. The drainage is also not permitted in the shear state. So that's the reason this is called the quick test. Understand? UU test. We call it as a unconsolidated undrained test. Second is consolidated and undrained test. In this test, the specimen is allowed in the first stage. The consolidation is allowed, as name suggests. Consolidated undrained test. Okay, so consolidation is allowed in the first stage, and drainage is permitted until the consolidation is complete. While the stage of second stage for the shearing stage, no drainage is permitted. Okay, so it is not very quick, not very slow test. That's why it is called the CU test, consolidated undrained test. So what all these things, anyway I'll explain you further. Just bear me. Then consolidated drain test, CD test, consolidated. That means consolidated consolidation is allowed, drainage is allowed. Okay, in both stages, shearing and the uh, both stage. First stage, the consolidation stage, drainage is allowed. What is the shearing actually? Anyway, I will show you the sample. What we'll do is first we'll consolidate it, then we'll shear it. We'll try to apply deviated stress. Because of that, you literally you could find in the laboratory the soil sample try to fail, the shear 45-degree shear you could see easily. You could see, okay, it is a transparent equipment. Anyway, I'll show you what are those two tests. One is the direct shear test. Second one is the triaxial compressive test. So these are the tests. Okay. So this shear stress would be applied maybe in a strain control manner or a stress control manner. That means sometimes what we'll do, we'll control the strain and we will try to keep on applying the load. Or sometimes what we'll do, we'll strain will apply and stress we can control. Okay. So here what I will do is now I will show the direct operates. Okay. So let us have some photos so that you will understand. Direct. Yes. Okay. So how it looks like. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now forget about all these things. Now we focus is what I'm trying to tell you is we will conduct some test in the laboratory for finding the shear strength of a soil. Why we have to find the shear strength? Because that is the only strength soil will have. So if the soil is having more shear strength, it will resist more load. We can go for multi-story of building, okay, building on that soil, okay. So which soil will have more shear strength? Gravelly, sandy soil will have more shear strength with clay content. So generally clay will have very less shear strength, okay. So it is very soft. When you when you add water to the soil, it will have very less. Whatever shear strength the soil is having, this would be all because of cohesiveness. That is C parameter. Understand? But in the sandy and the gravelly soil, in addition to C, there would be phi also, angle of internal friction. There would be some friction between the particles to the particle. Understand? So here, this is the box. Okay. So this arrangement anyway we have in our NIT. We have very big size of this box here. Now what I'm trying to tell you is we on this box anyway we'll prepare a soil sample. The procedure is given. Okay. So what we are doing here what we have to do is to find the shear strength. We have to apply normal stress plus shear stress to plot the graph, right? That's what that should be our aim. In the y-axis shear, in the x-axis normal. When you plot it for a different loads, you will get some graph, is it not? And that particular graph we have to plot it, or we can say that we will get the that will give the C and the phi parameters. So what generally we do here, this is what it shows, okay. So here this is whatever hanging, whatever you could see, that is a normal stress, and here this is the shear, okay. So likewise you could see so many by using this weight we'll apply normal here, and there would be shear also, okay. So different types of box shear test we have. So we do have these tests in our laboratory, okay. Now what I'm trying to tell you is, so this is what it looks like, okay. Here the sample is there, both the side porous stones are there, okay. Sometimes this shear test generally would be conducted on the cohesionless soil, but we can go for cohesive soil also, and we can apply the drainage conditions also, generally full wet soil and so on, okay, full dry, but generally we go for dry conditions, okay. So when you wet the soil, it is observed that it won't give good result, okay. For that wetting and all these things, we will have one more test, that is triaxial test, okay. First, direct shear, as the name suggests, here will the soil will be sheared like this sample. So this is the two box, one is at the bottom, one is at the top, and we'll apply load here, okay, and we can measure the strains and so on, okay. When you apply it, the soil would be sheared horizontally, and we keep on applying the normal. Suppose I have applied some 10 newtons load, and again I have applied this 5 to 10 Newton shear, normal shear. Then what I will do is next I will apply the uh, 20 Newton. Then again this also, again we'll try to shear the soil where the dial gauges reading goes back, that means soil shear, there you again will stop, then again keep on applying the one more normal load. That means what we have done is here, the shear strength of a soil depends on the normal stress. That's what we have seen, it is a function of normal. Tau is equal to function of normal sigma, that we have seen today's first tau, I mean first what do you say, sentence what we read it. That means shear stress is depend on the normal stress. So what we'll do is likewise we'll keep on applying the load normal and shear, normal and shear, and what we'll do is here we can plot the graph. Here it shows this graph. What it is, this is for one normal, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, okay, 4 point, and so on. When you draw this envelope, okay, this is the failure envelope for that particular soil. Understood? And already we have seen C is the intercept, cohesion, and this is the phi. So, what is the shear strength of a soil now? Shear strength is equal C plus sigma, okay, tan phi. Understand? C plus sigma tan phi. So likewise, we can draw this mode circle also. It is very difficult, but here now look at these pictures now again. Hope it is visible. Now what we'll do is presentation of the result of the direct shear test. So what are the results we generally we get by using the direct shear test? One is C5 parameter, anyway we got it, see the intercept, okay, and the phi with that angle whatever we have seen phi it will give. Again for different normal stress we can find out the shear strength, okay, C plus sigma tan phi. So what are other things we can calculate? Here instead of uh, normal stress, what I will do is here in the figure A I will make it as a the stress strain curve uh, with the shear displacement. Here shear stress, here shear displacement. Here look at the stress strain curve, okay. A stress strain curve is plotted between the shear stress sigma and the shear displacement dH by dl, okay. So in the case of dense sand, okay, or a over consolidated clay, the shear stress attains the peak. So when you try to draw these things, okay, graphs, vertical would be shear stress and the horizontal would be shear strain or shear displacement. When you try to draw it, you could find that for dense soil will have peak like this, but for loose soil it will follow like this. So these are the research output of this Moore Coulomb only, this Moore fellow only, okay. He has done all these tests and he says this is the medium dense. Likewise, when you draw this particular B part, one minute. Okay, sorry. Uh, so when you try to draw this stress strain curve, okay, y-axis tau shear stress, here x-axis shear strain, then it is found that dense soil will have this peak and then coming down. But in this second case, okay, second case is uh, when volume change is drawn, okay, volume changes within increasing the shear strain for CD test, okay, because this is for CD test only, because volume will change it. Since the cross-section area of the specimen remains unchanged, the volume change is proportional to change in the thickness measured by the dial gauges. Okay, then it is found that this particular soil will have reduced this volume. Okay, then it is go up like this. The dense soil will have in this way. So again, the loose soil will keep on changing the volume, reduces only. Okay, for dense soil it will reduce and increases. Medium follow in between. And when you try to measure this wide ratio also, okay, in the y-axis and the uh, shear stress and core strain in the x-axis. So it is found that for loose soil, wide ratio will be reduce, and it will uh, come to the critical wide ratio. From that we cannot change anything. Okay, there's the minimum. For dense soil, what happens? It is observed that wide ratio slowly, because it would be very dense, right? So slowly it will increase and then attain the critical wide ratio. So these graphs you should remember. Again, read it. Okay. Anyway, again, how the Moore column has defined these things. Okay, they may ask in competitive exams that how the for the dense soil how it would be, and for a medium sand how it would be, and so on. Okay, and finally, what we have done here is by using this particular direct shear test, we are able to find out the C and the phi parameter, which are very very important, and failure envelope. Okay, we can draw the Moore circle also. If the Moore circle touches here B, then we say that the soil is failed and other things. Okay, so likewise this is a major principle says, minor principle says, if you assume that this is a small element, then what happens, this particular element would be sheared. And now there are some limitation for this merits and demerits of this particular direct shear test. That is also very very important here. Okay, so direct shear test has the following merits and the demerits as compared to the triaxial test. Okay, the sample preparation is very easy in this case. Okay, and this test is very very simple and convenient. As the thickness of the sample is relatively small, the drainage is quick and the pore pressure dissipate very rapidly. So consequently, the consolidated drain test and the consolidated undrained test takes relatively very very small period compared to the triaxial test. It is ideally suited for the conducting drain test on the cohesionless soil. This is very 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 important. Okay, they will ask in the competitive exams. Generally, this direct shear test would be conducted for cohesionless soil, sandy soil. This is ideally suited for that. Okay. Then apparatus would be relatively cheap compared to the triaxial test. Okay. Then what are the demerits if we say? So stress conditions are known only at the failure. Okay. So we don't have other measurement. Once failed only we are able to stop it, and again we are applying the normal stress. The condition prior to the failure are indeterminate, and therefore Moore circle cannot be drawn. In this case, so whatever Moore circle drawn, it's not from this particular direct shear test. Okay, just it has shown it. How we can draw the Moore circle, because we are applying normal, and only we can do is here we can draw this one. Normal shear and the failure envelope, and C and phi we can find out. Okay. Next, the stresses distributed on the failure plane is not uniform. It's not necessary that it is uniform. Okay. The stresses are more at the edges, sometimes lead to progressive failure. Okay. The area under the shear gradually decreases as the test progress. And one more very very important is the orientation of the failure plane is fixed. This plane may not the weakest plane. The fourth one is very 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 important. Okay, here what we are doing is we don't know the which is the failure plane actually, is it not? So we are creating artificially failure plane. So on the box we are filling the box with the soil, okay, and we are shearing it. That means we ourselves are defining the failure plane, but soil may have other failure plane, right? So that will come out in this triaxial test. So triaxial test, what we will do, soil, we can observe the failure plane actually. Here we don't have any other option because we are filling the soil in a box and we are shearing horizontally. So the soil has to fail in the horizontal only. There is no other plane, only horizontal plane. There is a predefined plane. Failure plane is the predefined plane. That is a very important and demerit of this particular box shear test. Okay. So quickly what we'll do is, maybe if at all any videos are there, we'll check it. Okay. So I don't know that the direct shear, that elementary engineering has this video, I don't know, but that is very good videos. So here you can listen this one. Okay. This is looks little I mean more reliable compared to others. You can watch some videos also. Let us see.
It's the first day of your period,
Is it audible?
and a lot of people will have a lot to say.
Is it audible?
Yes,
Is it
sir.
audible? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
You try to listen some videos. Okay. What is the highlight of the today's class? Here for box shear test, we are applying not only vertical, horizontal force also we are applying, or stress. Normal and the horizontal. Shear and the normal stress, we are applying it and we are finding the failure envelope. That's the highlight of this today's class. And you try to go through some videos and you will understand easily. It's very simple topic only. What we are doing is we are applying the shear stress and the normal stress and we are finding the failure envelope. From that where it intersect, it is the called C, and the phi angle we are finding out, and from that we can get the shear strength, more column shear strength. Okay. So with that I'll stop today. I think you listen this particular videos of this. Okay, I think this would be anyway, I'll post it. Okay. So spend some time and listen the videos. Okay. So with that, I'm just pasting it. Okay, here you can watch this video for direct shear test. Okay. So with that, I'm stopping today. Maybe we'll meet next class. Please join and keep working out on the assignments. Okay, that's more important. So that's how you can learn the subject. Okay. So otherwise it would be very difficult.